How's the Rubric family today? Finally, we're back. Jean Paul, myself. We say hi to all of you. We hope you guys are doing good for Thursday night. And like we promised, we're going to deliver. NXT review is right here, guys. Like always, we say thank you to everybody that is joining the channel. We appreciate the support. Everybody that is checking us out in all our social media platforms. So we're going to start right back to it because we have a long show to talk about. And Jean Paul, we started out with something that we called for weeks and finally happened. We said it was going to happen. And
The
yeah, we're
Spanish God.
celebrating. That's why you guys see me with my the new Hall of Famers, inductees for 2020, the NWO. But now we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Angel Garza, the new Cruiserweight champion. Hi,
Right.
Jean Paul.
I mean,
Tell me your excitement about this whole news.
just watching it, I mean, just like the whole match itself was amazing. This was definitely the best match that these two guys had. But then, we'll go into some spots of the match later, but just like the ending, when he's like the four things in his life and he goes through it all: wrestling, his family, the support from the fans, his girlfriend, brings her into the ring, proposes to her,
He
like
wins
how,
the
like, yeah,
Yeah, he
how,
wins the championship and he got engaged. So that was probably Angel Garza's best night of his life.
mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you say
Yeah,
that?
and how do you, I mean, like, even watching that, I had a big smile on my face. I don't know the guy, but this is why wrestling is badass.
Exactly.
You know what
That's
I
the
mean? You
one.
get these all, and this, how much better was this than the fucking John Cena, Nikki Bella
Oh
proposal
yeah,
at
because see, this
WrestleMania?
was organic. This was
Yeah.
like real. It wasn't like cringe because everybody knew that
Yep.
for that WrestleMania he was gonna propose. Even Nikki Bella knew.
Because it was storyline.
It was all storylines.
This was actually legit.
Did they get married? No. Now they
Yeah.
split up. Now John
Yeah.
is with somebody else, and Nikki Bella is actually dating the guy from Dancing with the Stars.
There you go.
No, but see, Angel Garza turned out
Yep.
this Wednesday night. He turned it out into one of his best nights of his life. So NXT, of course, opened up with the Cruiserweight Championship match, Leo Rush and, of course, Angel Garza. The match itself, complete 100% intensity from the very moment that it started. Exchange of punches. The guys turned the house down. I mean, if Dynamite opened with Chris Jericho and John Moxley, this was exactly the way to counter that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because they started it like so high. They started 1,000 miles per second. I wouldn't like they exchanged punches, springboard moves. You can see like they were so like into the match. There was like springboard moves onto the outside by Rush, and later the avalanche Spanish fly by Garza. Those two, can just go at it like, and it's just pure magic,
Yeah, and
chemistry from one to the other.
I like and then one spot where he picks up Leo Rush and he goes to, I think, almost like throw him out of the ring, but like Rush kind of like wiggles free and he does that where he bounces off the bottom rope and hits like a stunner
Oh yeah.
onto,
He was
yeah,
trying
yeah,
to do like Leo Rush was trying to do his finisher, and actually he wiggled and he couldn't
yeah.
hit it. So it was good from the very beginning to the end. It was exciting. It was a beautiful match. I love the spot when like Angel Garza was he was going off the ring, and then Leo Rush was trying to keep him in the ring, and
Oh,
then
and he pulls the pants off, yeah.
he pulled the pants
Yeah.
off and everything.
Yeah,
But
that's
to
after,
me,
yeah, Leo Rush, he actually hit the, what is it? His frog splash. I forget what he calls it.
the hot hour or the
Yeah,
final hour.
yeah, the final hour, I think. So he hit that, and Angel Garza's like, that's when he's rolling out of the ring, and he starts
Yeah,
ripping his pants off. It's
he
like,
rips the
yeah,
pants and everything. Yeah, those two, like we said, they like we promised they will do. They deliver. They gave us a classic.
hmm
I will say with all the confidence in the world that they put the best match between the cruiserweights on 2019.
oh yeah, for
The
sure.
Spanish Fly, beautiful.
hmm
Avalanche Spanish Fly. You can hear Ronaldo. Oh my God, the Spanish Fly, and the near falls. You will Garza's expression.
Yep, and Leo Rush too.
Like
Like,
it's like, what do I
yeah,
need to do to
like
put this guy down?
like you said, when he hit the final hour, and then we said that spot where he's rolling out of the ring, like Leo Rush, the look on his face, he's just so angry. Like, I hit my finisher, and he rolled out.
It should have been
Yeah,
done.
like,
It should have been done.
and then
Yeah.
when he hit the wing clipper on him, that was a really close near fall. When Leo Rush hit the wing clipper on Garza.
Oh
Now,
yeah. See.
what did you think of the ending? The ending was the only thing I didn't like.
Oh yeah,
Was
like
when
you
he
said,
did
like
the
when
wing
Leo Rush even
clipper.
hit the wing clipper, that's
Uh-huh.
another spot that I like because I'm old school like, in some ways, like you are, and I do like when like the one person does the other person's finisher. I do like that. I remember
Yeah,
when The Rock and Stone Cold used to exchange like The Rock will do the stunner and then Stone Cold will do the rock bottom, things like
yeah.
that. So that to me brings me to those days. So I really appreciate those kind of things that they incorporate in this match. But like you said, the one thing I did not appreciate is like Angel Garza hitting his own finisher. He didn't look as good as like
Yeah,
Leo Rush did it, and then he wasn't done. He
yeah,
kicked out.
and then he like had him in a submission and he tapped out and I'm like, why would he tap out? If anything, you would have had Leo Rush just pass out
Yes,
and then Angel
yes.
Garza still wins it and then Leo Rush doesn't look weak because to me it's like he's badass enough to kick out, but then he taps out.
Oh yeah. See,
Like,
that was the one thing that like
that
I
was the only
didn't
thing I
really
didn't
like
like.
the ending.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were all hoping for the title change to finally happen. So I was like, screw it, whatever. I'm a
Yeah.
guy like you that like I would have rather him Sim Garza win the match with a win clipper and should
Yeah.
have been gone done. But I mean, they did it in this way, and you know what? The one thing is like the camera didn't even show Leo Rush, tapping because the
Mhm.
camera was actually focusing on Leo Rush back.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe that was like a fuck up. Maybe he wasn't supposed to kick out.
Maybe, maybe
Yeah,
you're
I don't know,
right.
cause but
Those
it's like what are you gonna
conspiracy
do after
theories.
that? Like a
Yeah,
wing clipper from the top rope? Like I don't understand what else you could do after that point.
yeah, like that's what I mean. Like then, yeah, he did like the wing clipper style reverse full Nelson submission.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, like I don't know if he was supposed to like just be down with the pinfall or like the referee messed up. I don't know what was supposed to happen, but in the end, we finally get what we wanted.
Yeah,
Angel Garza.
and that's the thing I just want to clarify. Like as much as I wanted Angel Garza and all that to be the champion, it was nothing against Leo Rush because Leo Rush is so badass. He's so good for his size and like he said, he's probably the quickest guy on NXT. Like he's just lightning fast and he's so talented. But they just booked him against someone who was way more charismatic.
Yeah,
So
and see
it's
that's the
like
thing.
yeah, I mean not
Now
that
that
Leo
you
Rush
bring up
doesn't have
charismatic,
charisma. Yeah.
yeah, now that you bring charismatic, now you bring that word. I want to say Leo Rush is pretty charismatic, but see, he hasn't have any mic time. They
Yeah.
haven't given him any promos that he can do because we know he can talk because he used to he used to manage Bobby Lashley like last year,
Yeah.
like
And
years ago.
that's and when he was doing that, he was like they were probably scripting him and he was overly annoying and we hated him. Now you're like Triple H is gonna let Leo Rush say what he wants to say and he's gonna make him sound legit. So that's what I like agree with you. Let him have mic time.
Yeah, he should
Which
have mic time.
hopefully after this they kind of work him into the NXT roster as well, not just chasing for the Cruiserweight championship. Maybe he could go against I know he's in a feud right now, but guys like Kushida or Finn Balor, Roderick Strong, Velveteen Dream when he comes back, there's plenty of feuds and stuff you could see. Even though he's small, Leo Rush is still legit.
Oh no, yeah, like by far, like I mean, yeah, that's a great thing. The great ideas that you're bringing up to the table because I feel that like he could easily go with any of those guys. He has enough to pull out great matches, and yeah, like I feel okay. He's right now. He put on Instagram right away after he lost the championship. He's like, I'm sorry to all my fans. I'm sorry I disappoint every single one of you. This time I gave my best, but my best wasn't enough. But this is not over. So
Hmm.
I feel that there's going to be another championship match between the two of them. Maybe for the Royal Rumble. I want to say for those things.
Yeah.
But if he's moved to different things, it should be right for him. It should be something good because I feel like he has enough enough wrestling ability to go against Strong and the ones that you mentioned. I just feel
Hmm.
like that he could
Oh
do
yeah.
anything. And like for example, he did what he could for the Cruiserweight Championship. He didn't hold the title for long, but I feel Angel Garza happens to be hotter right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. And you're gonna get all the conspiracy theorists out there going like, "Oh, is this just because AEW has like the Lucha Bros, and now there's like Humberto and there's Angel Garza. There's Rey Mysterio's a champion. It's like, are they trying to push, get like the Spanish influence to try to combat AEW for the Lucha Bros? But it's
That's
like,
right.
if they are, who cares? Because look at these good talents. Now, Humberto is nowhere near as good as like Ray Phoenix or anybody, but like look at Angel Garza. He's like 1,000 times better than Sammy Guevara, and
Well, yeah, for
you know
example,
what I mean.
like
So it's like if that's what they're doing, like who cares? Because we're seeing good wrestling. But
exactly, once we always said this, Wednesday night is the best night for professional wrestling.
oh,
It's not
absolutely,
Monday, it's not Friday. Sometimes it's Sunday, but
yeah. Sometimes it
sometimes
can
it's
be.
Saturday. But the best night is just Wednesday because we get two promotions, two brands that do care about the fans, do care about how we feel and what we want to see. And that right there, Triple H. We've been calling this Angel Garza movement for weeks. You guys can check it on the page, but please, if you don't believe me, there it is. So we've been calling about this for weeks, and finally we get this. And like Jean Paul was saying, after that, Angel Garza proposed to his girlfriend. So the guy has in the one hand the woman, and in the other hand the goal. So congratulations! I love how Ronaldo was talking Spanish for Angel Garza. So Mexico, the first hour of NXT, Mexico was just sweeping the house with everybody.
Yeah.
Because after that, well, we had after that, like Jean Paul, excellent storytelling, flawless action. Those
Mm.
two to me again, classic. Tell me another cruiserweight match. That has been as good.
That's,
I
I
wouldn't.
mean, yeah, like the closest thing I can think of is like, I mean, Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, like those guys were good. Neville and
Yeah,
Austin Aries, but
yeah.
like in recent memory, nothing has been close to this.
Nothing has been close to
Ever
this.
since they
Yes.
called up those three guys who I previously mentioned, there hasn't been anything nearly as good.
And one thing that, like you mentioned on the AEW Dynamite, of course, the review is on the channel, so please watch Jean Paul going step by step, flawless. Like, see, I want to use the same term, flawless review about everything that took place during that show. Really great. But see, the Spanish God is the one that has the cruiserweight championship around his waist.
Hmm.
No Sammy Guevara, Angel Garza. I don't care if Jericho compares it with Guerrero to Shawn Michaels. Sammy Guevara is nowhere near as good as Angel Garza. So moving along, John Paul, we had a promo after that of Shayna Baszler because of course they're hyping the match that she's gonna have with Rhea Ripley on next week, December
Yep.
18th, the last show for NXT and AEW before Christmas and the New Year. So they had a promo and she's talking about old cars because she loves old cars. So she's
Yeah, she
saying,
was saying.
go ahead.
It's just how like everybody wants to be like the Tesla, like the brand new car, but like the tried and true is like the muscle car. Like there's nothing better, stronger. Like she's not trying to be pretty or flashy. She's just trying to go in there and get the job done. And I thought it was a good promo, but it
Oh yeah,
almost like once you say like it's reaching a point where like because she's had such a long title reign, and everybody's been calling it for months, like, oh, she's gonna drop it to Io or Candice or this person or that person, and now it's like now I feel like it's inevitable. It's almost like she knows it too. It's just like, I mean, obviously they probably told her, but it's just like it just seems like this promo that she cut. It's like it was intense, but I just feel like this is the end of the road.
no, I agree with you. Now you used the perfect word. There's no better word to describe this as inevitable.
Yeah.
Like that. She even she went through all the people that she's beaten. She goes Amber Moon,
Yeah,
Candice
I don't
LeRae.
think she said Kyrie Sane though. Didn't she beat
She
Kyrie
didn't
Sane?
mention Kyrie. She did. She goes Camp. She did
But
Amber
maybe
Moon.
that's because Kyrie beat her.
Yeah, Kyrie was the
I
one
don't
that like
think
they switched the title back and
yeah,
forth.
I don't think
And she
any of
goes,
those other
Mia Yim. She went Candice, Amber Moon, Io Shirai, and then she goes and says about the main event at Survivor Series. I beat Bailey and Becky Lynch in the same night. So I'm the woman that is leading, and it was a great paper, a great
oh
promo.
yeah.
I really enjoy how she, like you said, the comparison with the cars, and how she's been preparing for this main event spotlight. And of course, I think they're hyping the match so much just because they know they're gonna feel a title switch.
Oh
I
yeah,
just feel
that
that like that's the main reason why they hyping this so much. And yeah, like I said, the promo was good. I really enjoyed it. And then after that, we had Raul Mendoza. There you go. Or okay, you want to say the other way? Raul Mendoza. There you
No,
go.
I
And
like I like the first way better.
okay, well then he goes to he defeated Cameron Grimes. I really enjoy Cameron Grimes. I don't know
Yeah,
I don't know how to feel with
yeah,
this
no,
match.
I like him. I mean, this was obviously it was now this I like because now Raul Mendoza, like this was a very short match. Like Kushida comes out and he starts, and I love how the crowd's like grab the hat, or take
And
the hat, and he takes the hat and puts it like that. It was like hilarious, and so obviously Grimes is like all fucking distracted. He's all like, "Oh, what's going on, my hat?" And then he just rolls him up, I think, doesn't
yeah,
he?
he rolled him up. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
he
it was
just
it was
rolls him up.
4 minutes,
And now
very
this,
quick, to the
now
point.
this, I liked it because it obviously keeps their feud going. Now I don't know if they book something for next week. I don't know if that's been, because I don't know if they're loading up that show for next week. But one thing is now since Raul Mendoza won, maybe he could be, maybe he'll challenge Angel Garza. You
Exactly
know what
right,
I mean?
Mr.
So
Jean
it's like,
Paul.
so now
Because
it's
I
like,
was going to
yeah,
mention this. There was on WWE.com. There was a segment. See, only Robrick brings you the best information. There was some dialogue that they have. They have an encounter. Raul Mendoza was coming out, and then he runs into Angel Garza and the girlfriend or the fiance, and they're talking in Spanish. They were like, "Oh yeah, how's it going?" I say, "Blah blah blah," and then he said, "Well, you have something nice right here." He points out at the title. So there was a stare down right there. It was this very
yeah, that's
small,
and
subtle
it's
tease.
Yeah, and it was like everybody looked strong in this because I mean, yeah, sure, Cameron Grimes lost, but he was distracted. It was a roll up. The fans aren't going to lose interest in him because they still want to see this feud with Kushida. So like nobody's hurt, and Angel Garza, he's going to get, he's going to go against Raul Mendoza. He's clearly going to beat him. They're not going to just hot potato this title to all different people.
I hope
But
not.
it'll be a good, first
It will be a
title
good showing
defense, and
for
it'll
both.
be a great match.
It will be a lucha libre match on NXT. One of the best things that they can do to keep the show hot, and
Hmm.
that will be with a great lucha libre guys because of course Mendoza, Angel Garza, great wrestlers, springboard cruiserweight. They know what they're doing. They know how to get those
Yeah.
crowds
And
excited and everybody yelling NXT because their fans were so loud this
oh
episode.
yeah, and that's the one thing. Like I'm really happy Koshida's back because I feel like we missed him for a while. Just his like because he brings something a little different. You have everybody like Champa, Undisputed Era, Keith Lee. Like they're usually all like that feud and storyline is so serious. And then he comes in and he's like a little more funny, a little goofy kind of. I mean, he's still legit in the ring, but
Exactly.
he just has that lightheartedness. So it's just like a different aspect to the show.
I agree with you. Like
Because
Kushida
like the
brings
whole
something different.
yeah, because like Finn Balor or Tommaso Ciampa, like he's not gonna pick up the hat and put the hat on like Kushida did. You know what I mean? Like nobody else is gonna joke around like that. So that's what I mean. It was just a good fun match.
Exactly. Like I really enjoy those things, like you said, like because Kushida is able to like make us laugh a little bit, and of course
Yeah.
the show has to be serious. We want serious wrestling,
Oh
but
yeah.
also Kushida can back it up in the ring,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
like you said, we miss Kushida, so I'm really hoping good things for Kushida because the Japanese wrestlers and everything they were shown, I will say 50-50 in NXT and everything because see Hideo Itami or Kenta. He didn't
Yeah.
have like a great run, but
The only
Nakamura did
the only
awesome.
thing the only thing with him is he kept getting injured. I think he
Yeah,
got hurt two or three times. So
yeah,
I would say otherwise Triple H probably would have booked him. He
better.
just would have booked him. Period, because he couldn't really do anything with him. Anytime he came back, he
Like
would
he
get
kept getting
hurt.
injured.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it was like, what can you really do?
absolutely right, Jean Paul. So moving along, then we had a promo from because they were keep hyping up the triple threat match that we were gonna have as the main event. We had a promo with Finn Balor. Finn Balor goes through like the both of them. Keith Lee, he goes, where? Well, Keith Lee, what's there to talk about Keith Lee? He's been hot for 2 weeks. He goes, I've been the NXT champion. I hold that championship for 200 and some days. He's like, you want to talk about gold? And then he refers to Champa, like, oh, you want to grab my title and call it Goldie? He's like, you want to talk about gold? I've been the first Universal Champion. I've been an IC champion twice. And he keeps mentioning those things. And then he just says that like his past is gonna be his future. So he kind of points out that he's gonna win this match tonight, and then he's gonna go challenge Adam Cole, and then he's gonna become the new NXT champion. So what do you think about the promo? Did you like that?
Yeah.
Do
Oh
you
yeah.
think,
I
do you
was
think
just
your
gonna
boy
say
Finn
how much.
Balor is
Yeah.
is being
How much more do you love heel Finn Balor on NXT than
I
Finn
do.
Balor than his entire run on the main roster? Besides his call up, like his call up to beating Seth Rollins at SummerSlam was fucking legit. All of that,
Oh
I
yeah,
believe that was SummerSlam.
yeah.
All of that was legit. You could not have booked a call up any better. That was like what that's exactly how all Bobby Roode, Nakamura, that's how all these guys, Kevin Owens, that's how all of them should have been booked when they got called up. And then he gets hurt and done.
And done.
Done.
And then yeah,
So
done
it's
because he
so to
came
me,
back. He came
yeah,
back.
and
It
then
was never the same. He
so
was never the
besides
same.
yeah, like I said, so besides that initial booking, this is the best we've seen him since NXT.
Oh yeah.
And obviously now he's back on NXT, so that pretty much explains it. But it's like I love heel Finn Balor.
He's a lot better, and for me, he's able to do like to me. I always love heels better.
Oh,
Yeah,
me
as a
too. Yeah.
heel, you can do so much more. If you don't believe me, talk to MJF.
hmm
Talk to MJF. The best promo, probably, I will say even better than Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
You said it in your review.
and this is what you need to do when your character is stale. Like not saying Finn Balor was stale, but the main roster made him stale.
Yes.
What do? You turn heel. Look at Bret Hart when he turned heel at the end of his WWE run. He had to turn heel because he was stale. He was boring. Nobody wanted him. I mean, he was bland. I love Bret Hart, but he was an awful promo. So he was bland on the mic, and people were just stale or sick of that because they had Shawn Michaels and all these other guys. So he had to turn heel, and then he became back up on the he was a champion and stuff again. He was a number one program. So it's like that's
Exactly.
what
Like,
you need to
and he
do.
was able to have that great program with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the
Yeah,
rattlesnake. Oh
yeah,
yeah, because again, heel you can do so much.
yeah,
You
exactly.
can be a prick, you can be a fucking idiot, you can do whatever the hell
Yeah,
you want.
you can be a coward. You can
You can be
cheat.
a coward, you
Yeah.
can cheat. Heel gives you like if you don't. Again, another example: Chris Le Champion Jericho.
Oh my
How
God.
good of a promo you can be, and it's also because of your character. It's so much easier to do things when you're evil or bad than when you're good, because when you're good you gotta please people. Actually, when you're healed, you gotta like make people
Oh,
pissed
yeah.
off.
Wouldn't you say it's easier to cut a heel promo than a babyface promo?
Oh yeah, because you
Because
have
it's
so much to like. You can insult
yeah.
everybody.
Because who wants to hear like thank you guys and all that? Because like yeah, it might sound good at first, but if you hear it week after week, it's just like now it's nauseating, and that's
It,
how
it,
Seth. That's what Seth Rollins got to. So
exactly.
it's like
Bailey,
yeah,
same thing.
yep. So yeah, so heel Finn Balor is just great, and like going into it, this match, he was the one who I was going to pick to win. So I mean, you know, like I
Yep,
said, I'm
we'll
loving it.
get
I'm
to that.
loving
Yeah,
it.
well,
Yeah, yeah.
we have a whole show for you guys. Welcome to Robert once again, John Paul and Juan, and now we're gonna talk about the Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide is gonna be a special that they're gonna have on the Royal Rumble week. It's just gonna be NXT UK going against NXT USA. So we had a inner promotional match. Travis Bank against Jackson Riker from the
Mhm.
Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
And you could tell that they're forgotten because I don't even know the names. But it was a quick match.
Oh
And
yeah.
Travis Banks, I've seen him from NXT UK. He was actually also in the NXT for the United Kingdom Championship. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
on
The
that
tournament.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, and was in that tournament, so it was really quick. It was really quick. Banks uses his speed and the athleticism to avoid Riker as much as possible. He eventually surprised him with a slice of heaven of the ropes for the shocking win. That's all it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, and that was it. Like Jackson Riker. He was like he's like twice as big as this guy. Like
Yeah,
he's huge, and but like you said, it was just a surprise win. And then I think if this is going to be a match at Worlds Collide, I think they're going to trade wins because I really think they're trying to build up the Forgotten Sons, like just because they have no tag teams. And then I was surprised to see him lose here, but I think it's just going to be something like they're trying to build interest and hype for this Worlds Collide
exactly.
show.
Yeah,
That's all
because
this was.
I think that like is this going to be the first time in a few years now there's not going to be takeover the day
Yeah.
before the Royal Rumble. So this is they want to have Worlds Collide
Yeah,
instead of Takeover
which
because
I'm going to
Takeover
be
is gonna
honest
be
with you,
February.
since now that we're doing all these videos and stuff, it's easier for us if they're not the same. If you don't have Takeover and a WWE pay per view the same weekend, because that's so much. We got previous predictions. Not that
You
we
get
don't love
wrestle
doing
out.
it,
You
but
get
it's like
wrestle
that's
out,
so
but we
much.
do it
It's
for all
such
of you,
yeah.
for every single one
But
of
like
you.
it's like it's so great that it's now hopefully it'll be that they're on their own schedule, and also I feel it's better for WWE. It probably gets them more money because there's probably people who don't want to choose, like, oh, I can't go to Takeover and to Royal Rumble. I can only afford to go to one because it's too close. Now, if you space them out, you get a couple paychecks in there. You can go to both shows. So that,
It,
it makes sense on both ends. It
It
works for
is,
everybody.
it is a little different, and I think it's more make it available for people. Sometimes they sell the packages where they used to be Takeover and the Royal Rumble and
Yeah,
Raw
but
and
I mean,
SmackDown.
those are even though it's a package and it's a discount rate, I'm sure those are still expensive.
Oh no, they're still expensive. Believe me, they're very
Yeah,
expensive. So you don't want to like really. And I think that now I can tell you two things. The one thing is like you said is they're giving NXT their own time. They're all
Mhm.
like they're respecting the brand a little more. They're showcasing the brand a little more because they're not part of the Royal Rumble combo. They're giving them their own weekend
Yeah,
for the paper.
exactly.
So that's good. And they're gonna have. I also read in my sources that NXT is gonna have a own special role for WrestleMania 36. So while we will see how that's gonna play out. So it's not gonna be NXT Takeover, the day before WrestleMania. NXT is gonna have a special role within WrestleMania. So that's
Yeah, I
really
mean,
interesting to see.
I wouldn't be upset if they defend, like the four titles on the show on WrestleMania and maybe like have one match, like one non-title match from NXT, the tag
Yeah,
team titles and
make
then the North
WrestleMania
American.
legit.
Yeah.
For example, like wouldn't you like all those titles defended? And on top of that, the Universal, the WWE Championship, IC Championship that like we forgotten that Nakamura even holds that title.
Yeah.
So it will be good to see. It will
Yeah.
be good to see. Moving along, Mia Yim promo, Mr. Jean Paul. She says that she's gonna beat Dakota Kai. She's gonna make her pay for all the actions that she's been doing lately to Tegan Knox, to herself, taking her out of the War Games match. So she said, "I'm gonna make her pay for every single thing." So the match, Dakota Kai still comes out with the knee brace, reminding us that Tegan Knox is still out. She's still injured. And the
Hmm.
match itself, really, good. Not I thought that like the winner was supposed to be Mia Yim, but at the same time, I'm thinking, well, Dakota Kai is really hot right now as a heel, so she cannot get pinned. So what are they gonna do with it? And the match itself was good. Like I said, Mia Yim tried all her moveset. A lot of intensity between the two of them. The match itself was good, but in the end, Dakota Kai gets the win. What do you think about that?
I like you said, I agree. Dakota Kai's the one that should have got the win, but the whole thing it wasn't like Dakota Kai, like to use the old phrase, she won the battle, but she didn't win the war. Because the main thing was just after the match, like the fallout and everything that happened
Exactly.
afterwards when they
Exactly.
fought, onto the announce table, and then what did she? I think she just suplexed her,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It
She
says,
just
yeah.
suplexed, and
In
I mean
my
that.
notes, I have yeah. It says Yim chased Kai into the audience and stopped the production table, eventually driving her through a table below. Unfortunately, the women were supposed to fall through, but the table did break.
She like suplexed her through this table, and it was like, I mean, it was a brutal spot. Like it was intense. So you got to give it like to Mia Yim. She's like, oh, I'm gonna kick her ass and all this stuff, and Mia Yim, like, if she says she's gonna kick your ass, she's gonna kick your ass. Like, Dakota Kai might have beat her one week, but she's gonna give her receipt. Like
Oh
she's
yeah.
gonna, yeah. And
Like I said, I still think that like the match was good for what it was.
yeah,
I
and
don't want to
this
say
is
it's a classic, but it was good.
Oh no! I mean, yeah, their whole match wasn't anything spectacular. Like if you missed it, you don't need to go back and watch it. The only thing you need to
Exactly.
see from this is just the ending, that suplex spot. I mean, I applaud both women because I'm sure that hurt going through it. And that's the one thing, like with these storylines, how much emotion are in these women's storylines? You have the championship match, Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler. You have this feud, and Tegan Knox is also involved in this, and there's Candice LeRae. She's a good character. Io Shirai, even though they're not doing anything with them. There's just all these women and they have depth and character. And then on AEW, there's like the
Oh no,
women,
and then
the women, the
AEW we
women's
get
champ, the women's
yeah we get
champion is the women's champion is with Brock Lesnar on the back of the milk carton.
yeah,
It's like,
and
where are
also
they? We
like
haven't
yeah
seen them.
where is she? And we have Mrs. Freddie Mercury
Yeah.
with Amy Zagra, like
Mhm.
Excalibur always or Amy Zagra. I just don't understand. Like, hopefully the thing with Brandy Rhodes that they have is something that is cooking for something a little better. Because like you said, AEW's like women's division is really really weak. It's not good yet, and that's the
Yeah.
one thing that like they need to improve right away. Even Brandy said it. Where's Riho? We haven't seen her in like 3 weeks already. Where is
Mhm.
she? We need a champion that is going to be there all the time. And like you said, the women's division on NXT is the complete opposite. The women's division, like every single woman has a character, has depth, has their own attitude, and like they can all be contenders for Shayna Baszler. This is the Rhea Ripley's turn, but like Shirai had her chance, Candice had her chance, uh, Bianca Belair had her chance, Mia
Yep.
Yim had her chance. So they all have like a chance, and that's really cool. That's really nice that like everybody in that division, even Paige. You know what Paige said today on Twitter? She said, "I'm tired that the main roster only pushes 4 women, and it's the four
Yep.
horsewomen when they have a whole lot of women waiting for an opportunity."
Yeah, where's Ember Moon? Lost in the fucking behind the racist wall of Vince McMahon, or is she still hurt?
Well,
It's
she's
like,
still her, but like you said, when she's being healthy, why wasn't she fighting, for the championship? The
yeah,
only time that she did that was with Bailey, but that was like 2 weeks, and that was it.
yeah. I mean, now don't get me wrong. You don't. There's a lot of women on the main roster that are like just Instagram model bimbos, and they're not even wrestlers. But you have some who are legit. You have the, like I said, Ember Moon, Ruby Riot. I believe she's still hurt when she comes back,
Ruby, right? Yeah, you
and
could do
like,
something with Liv Morgan.
yeah, Liv Morgan, and like she's not the best, but at least she, wants to learn and get better. You have her, and you have Sarah Logan. You have people like that.
You have even
Yeah,
Mandy Rose. You have the build. Mandy's getting better, but like promoter, make her better. Carmella, she's gotten a
there's
lot better
yeah
to
Sonya
when she
Deville.
started. Yeah, you could even promote like Tony Storm, move her to one of these brands. I mean, don't do that because you're gonna end up screwing her. But see,
Mhm.
there's so much depth that you could use. They're all signed to your freaking company. When they get their paychecks, it says WWE. So I don't
Exactly.
understand. Piper Niven, she's in in the NXT UK. That woman is a hell of a wrestler. So why can't just promote these women and make something different instead of promoting the same four that we see all the time? And like your review said, on 2 consecutive Mondays, the match is burying the Kabuki Warriors. Those handicap matches are just burying them. How
Yeah,
can one person outlast for 15, 20 minutes? And Becky Lynch didn't even, she wasn't even pinned. It
yeah,
was
and
a
that's the thing.
DQ.
I see when people are talking about those matches, they were like, "Oh, these were good matches." They were giving them like B+ ratings. I'm like, no, I gave that match. If I'm giving that match like a school grade rating, I'm giving it a D+. And the D
Yeah,
plus only comes from the table spot at the end when she
yeah,
drives the elbow.
because
That
they look
match was
like idiots.
bullshit.
They
I
look like idiots.
This is like fucking Hulk Hogan booking, where Hulk Hogan beats down 5 dudes, and it's like, okay, you just bury 5 of your talent.
It's like Roman with you remember
Yeah,
with all the cops, all the personnel that like in the last review
yeah.
that we did for SmackDown. The same thing. He can kill like 10
Or
people, 10
even
men.
going back how far? What was Roman when he beat who was it? It was Rusev, Del Rio. What was that faction?
Oh yeah, yeah. The League of Nations. The
Yeah,
League of
yeah.
Nations.
When he just
Yeah.
runs through all them, and it's like, okay, these are world champions, United States champions, all this stuff, like whatever.
And still, Roman can outstand that. See, yeah, that's
Yep.
awful booking. So well, anyway, we're gonna go back to Breezango and the Singh brothers. And yes,
Yeah.
the Singh brothers and Breezango are still employed. They're part of the NXT brand. This is something that, in my understanding, it was just, hey, we don't have a lot to, we don't have something better than this. I mean,
Yeah, but they're saving it all. They're saving it all for next week.
for next week.
The
But
same
like,
thing. Yeah.
but see, and also they're answering our call. In like I will say not directly, but somewhat indirectly, just because we called for more tag teams, so they're
Hmm.
bringing Breezango and I guess the Singh brothers. We don't know
Yeah.
where
Well,
Jinder Mahal is.
yeah. Well,
Maybe he's
I was gonna say the Breezango, they've been on NXT for a little while now,
Yeah.
obviously, but the Singh brothers, it's like they were, in the 24 championship bullshit, 24/7 championship, that garbage. I would rather see them on NXT, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm a fan and I want to see them get pushed, but I'd rather see them at least in this role if they're gonna lose, at least be on NXT where it's a serious environment, and then maybe down the line you can make them a little bit more credible, a little more legit, and maybe do something with them. But I'd
Yeah,
rather
like for
see them here
example,
in this role on NXT, at least getting people over than on 205 Live losing or chasing the 24/7 championship. So I know I'd rather see him in NXT.
and see, that's my point. Like, like, give these guys at least a rub. Like, hey, these guys are a tag team. Let them showcase what they can do. For example, Breezango, I've always said Tyler Breeze is a good wrestler.
Mhm.
Fandango is not as great as like Tyler Breeze, but like Fandango did really nice moves in
Yeah,
this
I was gonna
match.
say I feel like Fandango like he like took charge. It was almost like that like Hangman Page and Kenny Omega where it was like it was a tag team, but it was like Fandango was like, no, I'm gonna do all the big spots and I'm
He
gonna
got
have
the hot tag, yeah,
yeah, it's like
yeah,
I'm gonna do all this stuff, and then Breezango was like or not Breezango, Tyler Breeze
Tyler
was like
Breeze.
he was like Kenny Omega, like just like, oh, okay, I guess you'll just fucking beat everybody, like you'll just take the win,
Yeah,
and
you
but
just
I
do
like
everything, and I just
as much as people like them, on the main roster as like the fashion police or whatever I think
yeah,
they were, but
yeah.
like to me, I just like Prince Pretty. I liked when Tyler Breeze was just Prince Pretty by himself. I like that gimmick, and although like I would rather see him. I don't want to say break him up because NXT has no tag teams already, but maybe if down the line they maybe if they are lucky and they get Revival back to NXT and some other tag teams, maybe split them up and then bring that gimmick back because I think
What
that's what Tyler Breeze needs. I feel
what
he's
I
just
will do, we said that they don't have the good tag teams. We said like the tag team division in NXT is suffering right now. So I will try to build Brisango in a really good way, in a believable way. Like for example, winning again against the Forgotten Sons once again. Maybe bring the revival, give them the upset.
mm,
Win over a legit tag team, and then have them in a NXT takeover against the Undisputed Era. I'm not saying make them win over the Undisputed Era, but at least give them some kind of like
yeah,
validity, make them legit enough so they can go against the Undisputed Era. Because I
yeah,
know people will get behind them, but you're right. Like I feel out of the two, Tyler Breeze is the better wrestler, and the more money I see in Tyler Breeze. I will
yeah.
never
That's it.
forget a match with Yushin Thunder Liger. So
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Breeze, if you will focus on just him, he could be better. Fandango, I don't know yet. I'm still
Yeah, that's
remembering the theme song when it comes to Fandango.
and Summer Rae.
Well, yeah, from Samurai. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. So I think the match was what for what it was. Singh brothers dominate some of the match until Fandango got a hot tag, and then he went on the top rope. He did a body slam from the top rope, and then he got the win with his leg drop. So
Yeah,
that's what it
that's what I
was.
mean.
Pretty
It
simple.
wasn't. It was like a long drawn out. Like I almost want to say it wasn't really a squash, but it was kind of a squash because it like how much they're not going to have the Singh brothers get a bunch of offense in. They did some of their moves here and there, but it wasn't. It was never a time where it was like you thought the Singh brothers were going to win.
Oh yeah.
It's never like, oh, are they going to pull the upset? It was like, oh, you were just waiting for the inevitable for them to lose.
Oh yeah, like, and where's Jinder? That's my thing. Where the hell's Jinder?
I
Is he
don't know.
working at
Nobody
Arby's? Is he working at Burger King? Is he working at McDonald's? Where's Jinder? He goes from being a WWE champion to like a nobody.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Is he like MC Hammer?
I don't even count that dude. Him
Is
winning
he
the
is he like
championship.
MC Hammer? Is he like a one hit wonder? Is that why he
Yeah,
went like this?
he should have never won it, but we don't even need to get into that.
Or he
I'd
did the
rather see
main
them.
book at Tiger Square?
I'd rather see them without gender. I don't know,
Oh
even
yeah,
though
like
I don't
yeah,
know
but
why
to
you
me,
want to see that guy on TV.
Jinder was also like he tainted that 2017 year. He tainted it because of like the WWE Championship became a joke, and it's been a little bit more of a joke until maybe when Daniel Bryan won it back and everything. But right
No,
now
I mean
it's
AJ Styles. I would say AJ Styles made it legit.
He made
His
it. He made it
his
legit.
feuds were shitty, but he was a good champion because he was a
Yeah,
legit wrestler.
you're right. You're right. I want to say that, and so let's forget about Jinder and let's move on with the show. Bianca Belair defeated Kaden Carter. Good match. You know, Kaden Carter did some. She got a little bit of offense with Bianca Belair, and at the end, Bianca gets the win because she needs a big win because, of course, she's not in a big program yet. But we know that at some point, I can see Bianca Belair being the first contender for the NXT, of course, the Women's Championship with Rhea Ripley when
Oh
Shayna
yeah,
Baszler
I could. Yeah,
called
I
up.
could
I can
definitely.
see Bianca Belair becoming the number one contender.
I could definitely see that. And like you said, was there? Is it Caden Cross?
Kaden Carter.
Carter. Yeah, she they said how she had a match with Io Shirai and she lost, and then she lost here, but like in each match she looked good. So it's one of those things where this is a woman where they're starting to slowly build her up, because how many more women can they really build up?
Oh yeah.
How many more can you feature? It's like I said, it might have been in last week's review, with all these women, how much talent they have on NXT and the ones from the main roster who are legit. You could make a whole women's promotion.
Oh yeah.
You could make a whole like Stardom in the US, like how they have in Japan. Like you could make a whole division or a whole promotion just with the talent you have. So it's like they're bringing in so much talent that they have to slowly build them, because it's like, what are you going to do with all of them?
You're
But
right.
but I mean, she's one of them who I think down the line, like with Zia Lee and some of these other women who, maybe by the end of 2020 they're going to be slowly, at the main event scene for the women. So
You're right. Like they have to build up because knowing that maybe Candice might go up to the main roster,
mhm.
Shayna of course is gonna go to the main roster. At some point, Bianca will go, and also Rhea Ripley will go because of course of all the hype and all the accolades that she has right now because she's
Mhm.
the hottest woman right now in the company. I will say
Yeah,
Rhea
and
Ripley.
if you have, there's rumors Kyrie Sane is unhappy, but then like people say Asuka's unhappy, but then other people say Asuka is content. So, people say the same thing with Io Shirai. So it's like you don't know who's leaving, because if they have these people leave, then they're going to need to call more people up, and then more people are going to have to fill those spots from NXT. So, like you said, it's a whole bunch of different stuff is going on, but
But I feel that like if Rhea Ripley becomes the champion,
mhm.
I can see Bianca Belair becoming the number one contender,
Oh,
and
for
then they
sure.
will have their first feud after this whole thing with Shayna Baszler is closed and
Mhm.
packed up. And of course, like I said, the match was really contested back and forth, but Bianca Belair hit her the finisher, the KOD for the number 1, 2, 3 pin. The match, like I said, well, the one thing that I love about Bianca Belair is when she uses her hair as the whip.
Uh-huh.
But she didn't do this. She most used like her submission moves and the KOD for the win. But like you said, maybe this Kaden Carter, she seems like a good wrestler because she got some offense on Bianca. So if they keep building these women, at least we're getting to know these women. So it's not
Yeah.
like we don't know. Like for example, they can be the replacement, and then Mia Yim can become Io Shirai can become those two like a big program. And like you said, they even have so many women that they could have their own tag team division
Yeah,
on
that's
the
another,
on the
yeah. They could make tag teams to feud with the Kabuki Warriors instead of just feuding them with Charlotte and Becky. That should be in singles programs, but
Yes.
you know.
Of course, what do we know, right? We
Yep.
just have Pro Break, we just have a podcast that is becoming very successful thanks to every single one of you. So, Jean Paul, finally, before we go into the main event, though, package with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley has been all over the news. She had like really two great, great, great weeks when it comes to Survivor Series, War Games. She became the hottest woman in the company, and she's acknowledging that. She says she came into the scene in the first Mae Young Classic. Everybody saw that what she was capable of. Then she went on to become the first United Kingdom Women's Champion, and then now she led the team for War Games and everything. And she says that like on December 18th, she's gonna become the new NXT Women's Champion. So, like you said, they're hyping this match every single way possible. And to me, the only reason is because there's going to be a title switch.
Yeah, that, and like I also feel they feel like in WWE's eyes, NXT, I could be completely wrong, but I feel that they think this is the one ace in the hole that they have compared to AEW. Like AEW, I will say their tag team division's better. Now, like, and then NXT and AEW, you could make arguments for the singles division, who you like better for the single stars. But the women's division, there's no contest for who is better. So I think that this is why they really promote and hype their women's division, because it's like, for the people who want to see women's wrestling, the female fans and just like even the male fans who are really invested in the storylines and all that, this is like the show you're going to watch. So I feel like they're really hyping the thing that they have the advantage over on AEW.
AEW, yep.
So that's why they're really hyping it. Now, along with the same thing you said, I really do think this is going to be the title switch. And how funny is it? Like a year or so ago, when Rhea Ripley injured Tegan Nox, she was like the number one heel. Everybody hated her. How funny is it that you can just flip somebody, do a video package, and portray them as such a lovable baby face that like, you started training at 16 and you wanted to be a wrestler your whole life, and now here you are, and we're so happy for you. But a year before that, we hated you. So isn't it just so funny how you can?
It is
like,
funny,
that's what we
ironic,
because,
like Alanis Morissette will always says. Yeah.
And it's like really when you become like such a good heel and you finally make that switch, like that's the one thing that they need to do with guys like Roman Reigns and all this stuff. Like in how Seth Rollins, he just finally became a heel. He can be a face again, but you got to be a really good heel, and then you have to switch at the right time. Like that's what, this is what good storytelling can do.
I absolutely agree with you. Exactly. Like how can you go in 1 year to be one of the most hated heels to the number one babyface in the women's division?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be upset if Rhea Ripley beats Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Yeah. I wouldn't be upset if she does the same thing with Bayley. The girl is a good wrestler and she can pull it off. She has the whole look. She is made WWE. She has WWE all over her. Like, tall, big, like muscle, power, everything. So the girl, my prediction is that like in December 18th, she's going to become the NXT Women's Champion. So, Jean-Paul, finally, main event time. Triple threat match for the NXT number one contender NXT Championship. Keith Lee, your boy, against Goldie's dad, Tommaso Ciampa, and another one of your stable, because you got a stable. You're managing.
Oh yeah. I have so many boys.
Mr. Smile that like lost his smile to become a prince. Finn Balor. How did you like the match?
I thought it was an amazing match. The one thing I will say is I don't like this, and I'm scared of this for when he inevitably gets called up to the main roster. I don't like the moment maker. I don't like when I don't like that nickname.
Why is that?
I don't know, because now it feels scripted. It's like this is the big dog, or know what I mean? It feels like it's just a scripted agenda name. He should just be Keith Lee, like he's limitless, like bask in his glory, like that's what he should be. Not this moment maker.
Also, moment maker. Yeah, go ahead.
Finish. I was going to say, to call him a moment maker, it's like to say he's limitless is the same thing. Like he can do anything. Like because he is limitless and he can do anything and do all these different moves and crazy cruiserweight moves and all this other stuff. That's what makes him a moment maker. Like you don't need to call him that as well. It's just like I don't know. To me, I don't know. It like takes me out of it. It's like a weird nickname.
What I feel about it is like calling him the moment maker is putting a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
Because it says, that every single time that like you're out there, you gotta create a moment. Yeah, and that it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what wrestler you are. It doesn't matter if you're The Undertaker. It doesn't matter if you're Cena, Roman, Hulk Hogan. Not every single match that you have is going to be memorable.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's putting a lot of pressure, and that's putting kind of like a name that like people will hold against. If, let's say, Keith Lee, like you said, he's running the main roster once it happens, let's say it's not good. Why were you going to call him the moment maker?
And look at like Finn Balor. He was the ordinary man who does extraordinary things, and it's like what gets fucking beat in like 3 minutes by the Fiend. Like what kind of like what do you mean he does extraordinary things? Like why do you don't say that if he's going to lose or job out? It's like it's just just a dumb nickname.
It is, yeah, because exactly the example that you just gave is absolutely correct. Because Finn Balor, the extraordinary things that he did, he was like becoming a smiley fan, becoming like a model for like underwear, like Tommy Hilfiger and all of that. All his runs to the main roster, and then when he won a championship, we didn't even know. We
Hmm.
didn't even know when he won a championship. So yeah, it's kind of like, to me, don't use those kind of names that are putting extra pressure on the guy. Again, moment maker. So you're telling me that every single time he this guy's out, it's going to be a great match. And like I said, no wrestler in the world can put out that. Not even
No,
Ospreay, not even Michaels, not even Omega. You're not going to tell me that the match that Omega had yesterday, it was absolutely great. It was a
no,
moment. It was a classic. Okay,
no.
so there you go. So again, they had the triple threat match. Of this match, of course, it was good though. Back and
Oh yeah.
forth. These guys turned the house down. Everybody was excited about it. I enjoyed it really, really, really much. Hit the first move with a diving crossbody over the top rope. Ciampa hit a double Widow's Bell for a 2 count and then drove Balor into Lee's with an air right crash. It did not take long before Lee used his size to his advantage. You could see how Keith Lee was like managing both of them. He was like dealing with both of them, but like both of them pushing them to the side. It was
Uh,
good. Yeah, it was a really great match. And then you see Ciampa and Balor eventually team up to slam Lee onto the campus, onto the top rope. As Ciampa was attempting to hit an avalanche air right crash on Balor, Lee got under Ciampa's legs to hit an electric chair at the same time. What do you think about that? Good match so far, correct?
oh yeah, absolutely. I
And
and
then
like when I'm watching this, like it was as it's going on. Like I said, my pick was Finn Balor to win this, but you honestly didn't know.
oh
Up until
yeah,
this point, it was still anyone's game.
I was rooting for Keith Lee. I was rooting
Yeah.
for Keith Lee because the guys had, give this guy at least a championship match. You know
Hmm.
what? I mean, don't say pull the trigger, make him win the whole thing, but at least make them like AEW did with
Yeah.
Darby Allin.
But
You
the
know,
thing that I just when I heard the reports that Vince loved him and all that, I was like, he's out of here and he's getting ready for the Royal Rumble, and then done.
I
So
really hope so.
that's why I was like, you're not going to give him the match just to lose. You're going to continue the story. So it was either going to be my pick was Finn Balor or maybe Champa, but as much as I love Keith Lee, I didn't think he was going to win. Just like I said, because I figured he was main roster bound, but.
I hope okay. This is you brought up the Royal Rumble. I think that like if Kid Lee wins it, I'm gonna be extremely happy. It's probably gonna be one of the greatest moments of the Royal Rumble if he was to win. And also, if he wins the Royal Rumble will be doing justice of the Royal Rumble history itself, because the Royal Rumble is supposed to be do what? Build new stars.
Hmm. Oh,
And
I don't
Keith
think
Lee,
you. Oh, that. I don't know if you thought that was my prediction. That my prediction is Roman. Roman's
and then
winning
that
it,
and
but no,
and
Keith
it's a
Lee
good
will be
call,
in
but
it.
it's a
He will
bullshit
be
call at the
in it.
same time.
He will be in it, and I would even go so far to say he'll be Final Four. But I wouldn't. He's not winning it.
Oh
No.
yeah, well I hope he does, because to me that will be a great moment for Kid Lee. And see, that's how you build new stars. Kid Lee is your future. This guy is your future because the guy is awesome. So I just feel that like if they give it to Roman, we riot. That's
Yeah.
gonna be I know WrestleMania is gonna be a crappy, or I don't want to see it. It's not gonna be what my expectation should be. Roman, it shouldn't be the top man anymore, in my opinion. So going back to the match, Mr. Jean Paul, Kid Lee hit Ciampa with a jackhammer, but Balor reversed it into a similar attempt into a pinning combination for a 2 count. Lee then lifted Balor for a spirit bomb, but Balor escaped midair for a falling coup de grace on Lee. A true coup de grace missed Ciampa as they did attempted a spirit bomb. Ciampa somehow lifted Lee for an incredible air crash for an only like a 2 count only. And then the final moments of the match, then Kid Lee smashed Ciampa, and Finn Balor did the coup de grace onto Kid Lee for the 3 count. And when it's all said and done, Finn Balor becomes the number one contender for the NXT Championship.
And then, like what you said, going back to the when he was going for the spirit bomb and he did the stomp, the coup de grace. That was a great spot. And it's just like all these guys and how Champa picked up Keith Lee for the air raid crash. Like all these guys are so athletic, and even those small guys are so strong. And now, obviously, Keith Lee can help hold himself up, and Ben, he wasn't just dead weight on Champa's body, but like, just the athleticism and the strength of all these guys, and that spot where he hit the Spirit Bomb, and then he came down for the coup de grace when he hit. I think he hit the Spirit Bomb on Ciampa. That was the end,
Yes,
right? And
yes,
then
yes.
Balor hit the coup de grace. Now I didn't think Keith Lee was going to eat the pin. Like I said, I didn't think he was going to win, but I thought it was going to be either Ciampa pins Balor or Balor pins Ciampa. But I think
Yeah,
they're doing this now. This is just, but to me, because he got pinned, now it almost sort of like makes it 100%, certain that he's going to the main roster because like he lost. Ciampa will now be able to say, "Hey, you didn't pin me." So if Finn Balor wins, Ciampa could then be the number one contender. Or, then you have Johnny Gargano coming back, and I said you could always do something with them. But because Keith Lee is the one who lost and ate the pin, to me, it's like you maybe keep him around for a little bit, but come January, I think he's done on NXT.
I just feel that, like, for example, when these kind of matches happen, and these, the three guys are absolutely over with the crowd, and they're all, good, this is the best way you book the triple threat. Because, see, like, Ciampa is the finisher from Kid Lee, and then, well, could like Balor, you only have the other guy who's not doing
Mm-hmm.
anything. Of course, he hit his finisher only, so it still doesn't look, to me, weak for
Oh,
Kid
no.
Lee. It's
No,
like,
he doesn't look weak, but I'm just saying I don't know what else you would do with him. Like else is there to do? The only other thing would be maybe turn him heel, but there's no way they turn him heel. Like his
yeah,
character isn't calling for it, but like I don't know what else he could do unless he goes after Roderick Strong. But then that's the same thing on the main roster. What, you lose one championship match and then you
and you
think you
go
could
after the one,
challenge for
yeah.
another one? So it's like I don't know what you do with him.
I mean, for example, you could give him like I will still use Dijakovic and have them as a tag team, and maybe go against the Undisputed Era
But
again.
that's the same thing.
But it's
He's
the
going for
same thing.
another
But
championship. That's not what.
or just have him away for like a little bit, because for me, he can still be on NXT. I don't think he's done quite yet. I can still see Kid Lee challenging for the NXT Championship. I don't know if it's going to be Adam Cole. I don't know if it's going to be Balor. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. But I still don't feel that like Kid Lee is done on NXT. Because I don't see
Yeah.
they're going to be like a,
Well,
what is it called? The Superstar Shakeup. I don't think
mm,
that is going to be any of that in January. I think they already had a shakeup, so I think they're going to keep the rosters the way they are until WrestleMania.
oh
I
yeah.
don't see any call ups. I don't see anything like that
No,
yet.
I don't think. I think they're just going to do the yearly draft whenever. When did they do it? When was that? A few months ago when they
A few
did that.
months ago. It was, I think,
Yeah,
yeah, it was when, like September,
yeah.
September
Whenever
it
they
was.
did it, they should just do it yearly in September. They shouldn't do it like twice a year or anything.
No, no.
They should just do it once a year like that. But I mean, that's where we agree to disagree because I'm gonna call it that he's in a rumble and then he's
Well, no,
done.
and in the Rumble, yeah, because of course they're gonna have NXT stars in it, so of course he's gonna be in the Rumble. But is he gonna go to like the main roster? Hopefully not. I just don't see it happening yet. And to me, now moving forward to the next thing that is gonna be the show from the 18th, you already given me a thing. Because, for example, I'm going to ask you about the outcome of the NXT Championship match, Adam Cole against Finn Balor. What are your thoughts about that? Or who do you pick to win?
This is to me, since everybody wants Champa to beat him, but you have plenty of opportunities to do that. I don't know if you're saving it for a takeover, if like that's your goal and you're just booking, obstacles in Champa's way until it's time for takeover and then he'll get the match. But I wouldn't mind seeing Finn Balor get it because like I like Tommaso Ciampa and I'm gonna be in the minority here, but if he didn't get Goldie back, I wouldn't even to me I wouldn't care. Because like Ciampa was good, but give it to Finn Balor, then Finn Balor can maybe drop it to Matt Riddle or somebody like that. Like to get these titles on someone else because what's Ciampa gonna do? So Ciampa wins it. Where does Ciampa go?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Champ? Are you going to turn Johnny Gargano heel? Are you going to turn Dijakovic heel? Are you going to turn Ciampa back to a heel? Like, where does he go from here? So, like, if he would win it, so that's the thing. So, I would say,
There's still many
give it. I would say
questions.
give it to Finn Balor. So I'm happy that Finn Balor won, and I think I wouldn't be upset if he beats Adam Cole because it's the same thing. Maybe then you can turn the Undisputed Era face. I don't know. It's one thing
And there's
to
so
see where they
many
go from
things
here.
that you could do with that, so many outcomes, but there's still so many
But
questions in our
if
head yet.
their main goal is to give it back to Champa, then I'm going to say that Finn Balor loses here, and this is just another stepping stone for Adam Cole before him and Champa have their battle.
Okay, what I'm gonna tell you, and hopefully this happens, but this is my prediction, and I'm not like Paul Heyman that says a spoiler. I'm just saying a prediction. You said this, and I'm basing it that with this. You said Champa didn't get pinned, correct? Okay. Balor is about to win it. Who comes to stop that? Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano comes back. He stops Balor from winning the NXT Championship because, of course, he wants Balor again. And then they start a feud. They resume their feud, and then, of course, the main program will become Ciampa and Adam Cole. And
I
that's
mean,
when
I
you will
yeah,
save it
I
for the
could
next takeover in Oregon, and that's when Ciampa will become the champion.
yeah, I could definitely see that, and then maybe you could do something that if Balor beats Gargano, then you could set up for Balor versus Champa for the championship. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I wouldn't also be opposed to if Champa does win it or something at some point, and that's when Johnny comes back, or maybe Johnny costs Champa to win the belt and he turns heel.
That would be also like a possibility.
If Finn Balor's doing a Bullet Club, maybe Johnny joins up with Finn, like turn him heel. There's so much you could do with that, because I don't want to just see Johnny come back and it's just, oh, he's a baby face and he helps Champa and this and that. Because to me, if that's what you're going to do, then just reform DIY, because we need tag teams.
Oh yeah, that and they could go for the
So
undisputed era. You're right, because and now also you just mentioned names like the Velveteen Dream. You just mentioned Matt Riddle. What do you do with these guys? What do you do with Keith Lee? What do you do with Dijakovic? You have like five guys right there. If you put Roderick Strong in that, and because he's a champion, those five guys could be battling for that championship. Or they could go up and challenge Adam Cole or whoever is the
yeah, and
NXT
we got
champion.
Killian Dane,
B
Kushida,
Dub,
Cameron
Kushida.
Grimes,
Yeah, Cameron
yeah,
Grimes. You have
Damian
what
Priest.
Damian Priest. You have all these guys
Yeah,
that like
Killian Dane, I think I said, but yeah, him. I'll mention him again because he was doing the belt motion, so he wants his shot.
you have
So
so much depth in one whole roster. So
yeah,
what
and
do you do with all these guys?
that's why I go back to saying I don't care if Tommaso Ciampa never wins the belt again. I know people say, "Oh, but the story and Goldie and this and that." And maybe it's
He
because
was
I wasn't.
champion already,
Yeah,
so
maybe it's because I'm like not as emotionally invested in Tommaso Ciampa as a lot of other people, but to me, you have so many, like, let other guys win the belt. You don't need to keep going back to him. He's done his thing. Now it's time to promote these other guys. That's what NXT is about,
you're
building the
right.
future, not
You're
building
right.
the same guy over and over.
You gave a really great idea reforming DIY. They need tag teams. Move these guys into the tag team division. That way, for example, you can promote Keith Lee, you can promote Dijakovic, you can promote Matt Riddle to the main event scene. And that way, tag team and main event scene are
Yeah,
both taken care of.
because Tommaso Ciampa said he's going to stay in NXT, and if he's
Forever.
forced to go up, then he's going to retire. So then that's the thing. You take him from the main event to the he'd still be in the main event, but in the tag team scene. But
Yeah.
then at least he's out of the singles role, and then in a year or so, maybe he can go after the NXT championship again and win it. But it's like he just came back to give it to him again. It's like it's really like predictable, and I don't like when
Yes.
wrestling's
Oh,
predictable.
yeah, exactly. So now, before we close the show, Jean Paul, your thoughts on like the ratings came up and the ratings surprised everybody because it was a complete tie.
Yeah,
AW and NXT tied. 778,000 viewers for both brands. What are your thoughts about that?
I'm not surprised that they're tied because like if you really look at it. Now, I thought NXT was a little bit better of a show, but I think that's just because the main event, like I said, this all the matches, besides maybe like the Worlds Collide match and the Bianca Belair match, those two matches really didn't have like a storyline. The one was just trying to promote a show, and the other one was just getting talent over. And the same thing with the Breezango Singh brothers match. But a lot of the other matches, they had storylines and they had really good, they had depth to them and this and that. Even though some of them were short and here, this and that, But on AEW, there was some matches that like, especially like in the women's matches and stuff, you just didn't really care. It was just two people that were out there. And I thought NXT's show, they both, NXT had some bad, AEW had some bad. So I'm not really surprised that the ratings were the same. But I thought like that, at least the main event and the opening on,
What I could tell you about the
NXT were better.
AEW, I do enjoy the promos from the Dark Order.
Oh yeah, those video packages are good. But like for me, now we've seen them so many weeks in a row, the video packages, that I want to see them now in the ring.
Now they need to have a match.
Yeah.
They need to have a match. Yeah. So that I do enjoy, but you're right. Like the women's division on AEW is actually a reason for you to change the channel and then check what's going on NXT. And they shouldn't be doing that. Give me different women. Give me more compelling storylines when it comes to the women. Maybe Brandy can come out and start doing something better with Britt Baker. You always said Bea Priestley. These women need to be every single show and not Emi Sakura. They don't need to have that. And Riho, the champion, needs to be at least in not every single show, but mostly every single show. So it doesn't surprise me. It's really crazy how these two brands keep going at each other. Meaning, like it's so so close every single week. We get to see that, but we'll see what happens the last show of the year. Both shows are completely loaded up. Both shows
that's the thing.
Are putting everything.
And I did see some people, they were like sour after this match, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to be a heel versus heel for this belt." But then I don't see people complaining when it's face versus face, when it's the Young Bucks versus SCU.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing. It's like, you get people who shit on one brand for one thing, and then they don't shit on the other for the same thing. So it's the whole, like, both shows, they use that. NXT and AEW both use this week's shows to hype and build for the following week for these super shows, championship matches. They wanted to put on the best match that they thought, and that's all this was. So, you don't fault one show if you're not going to fault the other.
Oh no, yeah, I think both shows have great things, but also like some things that they need to work on. No show is perfect.
Oh no.
But this week, if you ask me, I will say I enjoy AEW a little bit more just because of MJF. For me, that was the edge. But NXT, of course, is putting great stuff. Angel Garza, for me, that was my highlight of the whole NXT show. So for me, just watching him, we've been pumping the guy up. It was just great, and he won the championship. He was having the time of his life, and on top of that, he gets engaged. You were giving the guy just such a great showing, and I was just happy for that. So, Jean-Paul, I think it's time to go. I think it's time to say thank you to every single one that is watching. Like I said, don't forget to watch Raw Review with Jean-Paul. 3 hours of like some little good things. Lana and Rusev are still screwing the whole show up. We have AEW again with Jean-Paul, great Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley. Is he going to join the Inner Circle? We just don't know. But like the promo was really good. MJF calling Cody Rhodes up. We got to see the Blade, the Butcher, the Bunny. Great stuff right there in the main event that it was great, but at the same time, like Jean-Paul was saying, kind of crappy that the Young Bucks got the win and not Santana and Ortiz. And right now, you guys are seeing the NXT review. So Jean-Paul and I want to thank all of you once again. Don't forget to check us where?
On Facebook, Twitter, the OG Rope Break, and then Instagram, the original Rope Break. We got it all, the links, and on Facebook, Rope Break, but we'll have all the links and all that stuff posted below like always.
Right. That's right, and we're going to be with you for SmackDown tomorrow. We're going to be covering NWA, a pay-per-view. What is the name of the pay-per-view?
Into the Fire.
Into the Fire. We're going to go right into the fire, and it's really good because it's so cold here in Pennsylvania, so we need to go right into the fire. We'll be there also for preview and predictions for TLC, and we'll be talking about TLC for Sunday also. So, guys, there's always going to be a lot of content for you guys. We love you all, and in the name of Jean-Paul and me, we want to say...